Alrighty, on the ongoing saga of Bluffton, Ohio Buzz. This is Bluffton, Ohio Community Buzz. I call it the Blue Buzz, and I am still a member. However, my post was deleted. It was not approved. It's not up. I've already checked. Here's my most recent activity. This is the only one I was allowed, September 3rd. I wrote one yesterday, September 4th. It's no longer pending, and it shows that I have limited activity. So, it's clear they want to squelch. Now, the short way to describe this is this. There are people in the MAGA camp that are mentally ill. And the reason that they're mentally ill is rather simple. If there are physical evidence that disprove your belief, and you say it is all fake, that you do not even bother to look at it, to even think about it, or even consider the possibility it is not fake, that's mental illness. Now, some of those mentally ill people will become a threat to themselves and others. They were a big part of the crowd on January 6th. Now, I want to make sure that our society and my local governments are prepared for those that seek the violence. The mentally ill that believe they are in the right, that they are protecting their beloved country from an evil force that doesn't exist, they're one problem. But in the MAGA camp, there are also genuinely evil people, ones that love violence. The ideology doesn't mean that much to them. It just means that now they finally might be able to kill people for fun. That's a fact. There's also people that are staunch believers of fascism. They want complete control, and for that to be a case, certain people must die. I don't know if any of the members are anywhere close to that. Mentally ill and delusional, believing things to be that are false to be true because that's what they want. And there could be people that are a danger to society. I wanted to confront that. I'm not being allowed. Now, is it because there are people like that don't want to be discovered, or some other reason that I cannot fathom? MAGA, well, let's put it this way. In Hunter Biden's trial, there were no reports of prosecutors, witnesses receiving death threats. In Trump's many legal issues, there are all kinds of reports of death threats. That clearly states where the problem of violence might be. And this isn't Republican. This is MAGA. MAGA is a fascist, or is a group trying to make the United States a fascist state. And some of the things they say, like make America great again, America was never great under fascism. It wasn't part of it, but that's what they want. So, this is a recording of me reaching out to admin. I'm going to read to you exactly the conversations we have. She's an admin. Let me show that. Members. Valley Shula Dawson, and this is our conversation. You made a statement to me about the admins of the other Bluffton Buzz and that you were a member of the other group. Would you be so kind to provide a screenshot of the admins? They're completely hidden from me. And they did. That's admins. That's our screenshot of our admins. That's what I wanted to look. And I also asked about what you said to me about painting a blue line in honor of a fallen police officer. And then she said she couldn't get it right away. She'll get back to you in a day or two. But she didn't. She got back to me real quick. And here I talk about a thank you. Since I have been muzzled for some time, I'm trying to follow up with local law enforcement to ensure there is a plan to combat possible political violence, which is on an alarming rise. We've already talked about that. And she goes, look at this, how it's supposed to be convenient. She corrects it later. You don't even know who the admins and moderators are because they hide behind a name. So here you go. This is the red side. This is what they have. And then I just recalculate. So when I'm verified doing it. And then they talks about the Blue Line Street. You didn't know if it was ever up a console or if there's any formal discussion of it. And she talked about they thought the people that were complaining about painting a blue line is because they thought it would be racist. And I mentioned that. It's very sad that they called it racist without identifying if the people involved were racist. There certainly have been examples of racists using the blue line flag, the symbols and such. That's not where quote, but using the symbols should not automatically apply to everyone. I like the idea of having proof. I said that because when people have complained about what I've said or when I've contradicted MAGA in the future, that's always my theme. Present your evidence. Present your evidence. And since this is supposed to be about backing the blue, as in law enforcement, well, that should be a big part of it, evidence. But I think there are some members that don't even recognize the hypocrisy of supporting a convicted felon and saying you're part of a group that supports law enforcement. There can be some argument that it shouldn't be a felon, he should be a misdemeanor arrest. That's fine. But he has been convicted. That's no longer a fact. He is a criminal. Can't dispute that. So how could you support law enforcement and criminals at the same time? Alrighty, now I'm going to address my post being banned. Alexa, how do you spell perpetrator?
Perpetrator is spelled Perpetrator.
Excuse me. Alrighty, I'm going to go through and read that because I started thinking and typing, and I don't know if she's going to see this. You have been very kind of responding, and she has. If she's one of those MAGA supporters, it is amazing that they did it. So I have hopes that it will fall on receptive ears. But since my recent post was not published, I cannot help but conclude that MAGA members do not want dissent. I represent a plausible argument that among MAGA supporters there are both mentally ill and observably violent. It is in the best interest of ethical law enforcement to prevent violence. There are over 1,000 members, and maybe none of them are a threat to themselves or others. My beliefs will enrage those that might be. I made a video of my scrolling through the members list. That's just to let them know that, hey, I got their names. Don't know if it'll go anywhere. Quite possibly law enforcement is coordinating efforts. I don't know. There are a lot of people in this country that literally go on live television and state things that are observably false. And just because you say that is fake, that is a justification in your mind to be delusional. That's what it means. In other words, you don't want to hear that it's not fake because it has to be fake. These people are enemies. Okay, it does happen. When a person starts to see people that disagree as enemies and speak like they are, they have identified themselves as a possible domestic terrorist. That's a fact. It was MAGA members that stormed the castle, and that was domestic terrorism. I've talked in other videos about why can't members of our law enforcement and legal teams pull up a picture of the violence that occurred on January 6, 2021 and say that's political violence and we want to make sure it doesn't happen again. That's not supporting a side. That is taking a stand against violence. And if you can't take a stand against violence because you're afraid of the violent people, or if you support those violent people, you need to be identified. And this is extreme language. It is. Just like the extreme language of the MAGA supporters here, which it is. I represent presenting evidence and accepting reality. I do not know if it is you or the other admins, but not allowing me to confront these people may mean admin supports these extremists. And that is not ethical law enforcement. That is mob rule, and that is the heart of fascism. This will likely get me banned for good because I am clearly a threat to the violent MAGA members of this group. Alrighty, well, that's the entire video. I'm going to pause it to save it as a video, and then I will use it as my hook to show the URL that I put in here so they could see what I made. Well, time for lunch. Y'all have a great day.